watching the News Hour Special Edition.
Giant killer of the Congress party, Captain Amarinder Singh, has been dumped by the Gandhis. Gandhi is dumped. Captain is also our hashtag. Use that to engage with us. Let me open this up. Joining us, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP. Shehzad Poonawalla, Times Now contributor. Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst. Sumansi Raman completes the panel. Good evening to all of you. Tehseen, let me begin by asking you, you heard the captain's interview to Navika Kumar. He says, look, Punjab is a border state. This man has links with the Pakistani. And it is a disgrace that the Congress is backing Sidhu.
Yeah, I heard that interview. And with due respect to Captain, for whom I have a lot of respect, he does know that the borders are controlled by his friends, Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah Ji. Or is Captain saying that as Chief Minister he was irresponsible when Pathankot happened, or when which happened in Punjab, or the Prime Minister was irresponsible when Pulwama happened? Look, let's get to the meat of it, because your hashtag is obviously anti-Gandhi, but I just want to come to the point. I've been with you on a lot of debates. Madhya Pradesh, you tell me that, look, the Congress is not decisive. Punjab, you tell me the Gandhis are dictatorial. Madhya Pradesh, you tell me, why are you not backing youngsters? Punjab, you tell me, look, this man is a veteran, why are you going with youngsters? I mean, damned if I do, damned if I don't. Amit Shah does anything, it is called master stroke Chanakya Niti. Me, despite the will of the majority of 79 of my 80 MLAs, you tell me I am wrong. So I'm going to ask you one question. Whether it is Himanta Biswa Sharma in Assam, or it is in Punjab, ultimately it is the will of the MLAs that has prevailed. And sources since morning kept saying 40 MLAs are going to Aam Aadmi Party, going to Akali Dal, there's a split. 40 became 15, then became 10, then became 4. Ultimately, everyone went to the CLP meeting. So all the sources turned out wrong.
Now, let me answer that. There is a fundamental difference. I'll get Sanju Verma to respond to what you're saying, but let me add to what you said. The difference is, Tehseen, that when Himanta was chosen, you did not have Sarvanand Sonowal come out and sulk or complain or lash out. The leadership change in Gujarat was seamless without any controversy. Sanju Verma?
Master stroke. Master stroke.
Okay. May I? Fine.
Sure, please, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Tehseen. I want to just say one thing, Pranesh, that the P's which matter in politics are principles, probity, and of course, the fact that you need to have integrity. But I think the P that matters in Congress is not performance or probity or principles. The P that matters is parivar. I'm amazed that the manner in which Captain Amarinder Singh has been forced to put in his papers, and there is not an iota of regret from Rahul Gandhi or Priyanka Vadra, who otherwise have a view on everything under the sun. And Rahul Gandhi is such a prolific, tweeple. But besides all that, the fact that Navjot Singh Sidhu is a part-time politician and full-time comedian is not something that we need to discuss. I found certain words used by Captain Amarinder Singh in his interview to Navika very interesting. A, Sidhu is a disgrace. B, Sidhu is incompetent. C, he is a threat to national security. And 4, he is unstable. So basically, the Congress has chosen a person who is unstable, incompetent, a disgrace, and a threat to national security over somebody. I'm not a great fan of Captain Amarinder Singh, but certainly he's better than Navjot Singh Sidhu. And I'm surprised the Congress has chosen a part-time politician and a full-time comedian over somebody who
okay, let's get a response.
Just one line.
Okay.
In the Congress. He spent a lifetime in the Congress.
The part-time politician, full-time comedian, as per Sanjuji, was discovered by the great Arun Jaitley, sir. The BJP had him, but forget that. If he's a threat to national
and now
security,
you rediscovered.
Yes, ma'am, I agree. Everything. I agree, ma'am. But please allow me. I didn't interrupt you. Please allow me. Now, since he's a threat to national security, as per Sanjuji, I request you 2 times now, put UAPA. That's under Amit Shah Ji. Put UAPA. Let you see. You know why you're doing this? Because you're insulting Sikh. Because he's standing up for the scarlet of the Guru Granth Sahib. You're insulting Sikh. Today on national TV, you're insulting Sikh. Your basic idea is, Sanjuji, this is how you're insulting.
Okay, Shehzad Poonawalla wants to come in. Shehzad has his hand up. Yes, Shehzad. Then I'm coming to you, Mr. Raman.
Who worked for 40 years.
Okay, Sanju Verma.
And you are lecturing the BJP.
Sanju Verma, allow Shehzad to make his point.
I think the real meat of the debate would be to see what the BJP did in Assam. There are leaders who have to be accommodated, and there are generational changes that need to be made. The BJP makes them very often. But look at what they did in Assam. They had both Sarvananda Sonowal and Hemanta Biswa Sarma campaign and work for the party, put their best foot forward, and thereafter seamlessly they transitioned into Hemanta Biswa Sarma, and without having any kind of damage done to the party. That's political maneuvering. But what we see in the case of Rahul Gandhi, which is being hailed by Tehseen Poonawalla, is the fact that Rahul Gandhi has set fire to the fields. इन्होंने तो घर की खेती में आग लगा दी. To spite the face, he's cut the nose. Now I can imagine, let's assume that Rahul Gandhi can't tolerate a patriotic soldier and a performer. We know that he can't tolerate that. All right, no problem. He wants to remove him because he only thinks the Parivar should rule the party. But he could have done it in a better way without costing his party the election that's coming forward. Now what they've done is that first of all they've said that Mr. Amarinder Singh is incompetent chief minister, even though they've passed a resolution saying that we laud him for the work. If they laud him for the work, why are you removing him after 4.5 years? Secondly, in removing him in this way and replace him with whom? Will that person be able to now manage and steer the ship? And those who are now abusing or looking at Mr. Amarinder Singh as one single person, this is the same Tehseen Poonawalla who used to sing peens about Amarinder Singh. He served the party for 40 years and Siddu's not served the party for 4 years. He coined the term Pappu for Tehseen Poonawalla's leader-in-chief, and today Tehseen Poonawalla is defending him as if his life depends on saving Siddu, and he's discarding Amarinder Singh. That is what loyalty and performance.
I get Tehseen to respond, but Dr. Raman on the performance bit, sir, and this is a matter of principle. If the performance yardstick applies to captain, should it not apply to the Gandhis as well?
First of all, Pranesh, I mean, today I'm absolutely stunned in a way, because I find myself agreeing with Shehzad Poonawalla on this debate. Now, I mean, I'm totally startled at that. This is probably the first time. Okay, but the point I want to make on a serious note is that, as Tehseen said, it isn't very clearly about the MLA's decision. If it was about the MLA's decision, then the MLAs would democratically elect their next chief minister. The report with the observers have made it very clear that the Congress president will name the next chief minister. So where does this issue of the will of the MLAs come in here? It is ridiculous. And whatever it is worth, if you are going to have this transition, then it should have been done in a manner. I mean, we keep talking all the time about the Congressization of the BJP, but the BJP seems to have stolen a march on the Congress in its own game. I mean, Congress was known for decades to be, replacing its chief ministers at the drop of a hat. And now the BJP has excelled them with that. Look, you cannot have 4 months before an election a man who has been your party's face in the state and the chief minister for over 9.5 years come out and say that he was humiliated. How does the electorate take it? Whether
let's get Tehseen to respond to that.
They're not happy. Yeah, the bottom line is, who had the best chance of getting the Congress back to power?
Tehseen, answer that question.
The bottom line is who has the best chances of getting the Congress back to power. And from Sumanji to Shehzad, I want to tell you all one thing, that the Congress has done detailed research on this, and they know who has the best chance. This is a scientifically done exercise based on the 79 MLAs and the feedback that they've given. Point number one. In Uttarakhand, 4 months before the election, the chief minister has been changed. So I am making a prediction here, and I want you to record this, Pranesh, and play this on the day of the result. Congress will come back to power in Uttarakhand and in Punjab. You will see Congress chief ministers taking an oath. This is done in the best interest of the state of Punjab and in the state and India. And the reason Siddu is being opposed today is because he stood up for the for the punishment to be meted out to those who cause harm to the Guru Granth Sahib and for the unfulfilled promises. Now, in the farmers survey, Prime Minister Modi, Amit Shah ji,
but if the Congress party just a few, till just a few days ago was lauding the performance of Captain Amarinder Singh,
and they still do. Today also they did.
Then why change him?
I'll explain to you. Day before yesterday, you may have had some news item. Today, it's a different news day. Similarly, politics is fluid, it changes. So when it changes, I got to adapt. Otherwise,
what are you saying? Politics may be fluid, but
of course,
there has to be some sense in this. Tehseen, I can't understand what you're trying to say. Okay, tell me one thing. You heard the captain. You heard Amarinder Singh say that as the head of the CLP, he was not informed of the meetings, and this was not the first instance. Is that the best democratic practice, Tehseen?
Now, that is Captain who said he wasn't informed. Those emails went to everybody. Captain Sahib should have checked his emails.
Okay, so Captain is lying. Shehzad?
I'm not saying Captain is lying. You are coming up with one side of the story. I have no access.
I am not coming up with any story. I am only quoting what Captain said.
Exactly. So I don't have a counter to what Captain says. I can say that I follow principles.
Just one line. I promise.
Okay. Quick comment from Shehzad, then coming to you, Sanju.
Pranesh, I'll just take 10 seconds.
Isn't he the leader?
One quick comment, then you can hand it over to Sanju. Just quick comment. As far as the scientific researches of Congress is concerned, and Tehseen will know this, there was a gentleman called Praveen Chakravarti who said that the 2014 victory of Narendra Modi was a black swan event. It can never be repeated. Lo and behold, the scientific Congress realized that 2019 was a bigger margin than 2014. So I hope they didn't rely on Mr. Praveen Chakravarti and his company for this scientific research. I'm sure they got better people to do it this time.
Okay, but more seriously, Sanju Verma, you wanted to come in.
I'm not sure if he's embarrassed saying what he said.
Thank you, Pranesh. Okay, may I please? Thank you. Pranesh, I won't repeat that performance, principle and probity do not matter, but, chamchagiri and, of course, parivar matters in Congress. The more important point is something which Shehzad also hinted at a couple of minutes back. What matters is the manner in which this exodus of Captain Amarinder Singh happened. There is a way of doing things. You can show a little bit of grace. And Captain Amarinder Singh says when 4 weeks back he met Sonia Gandhi, he offered to resign but was asked not to. And today he actually heard from somebody at 8 a.m. that there's a CLP meeting. Whereas officially he should have been the one who should have called for a CLP meeting. So A, it shows that Congress works on high command culture. B, it shows there is no respect for loyalty.
You're wrong
there is a man who spent 4 decades. Point number 3, please, can I finish?
Ma'am, but just to correct you, you're wrong on constitutional.
No, may I finish?
No, please. You're wrong on a fact.
Let her finish.
The CLP meeting, please, don't interrupt, Shehzad. The CLP meeting is called by a majority of MLAs.
Tehseen, just allow her to make that point, then I'm coming to you for a response.
Fair point.
Your turn comes, you can speak. Now, Tehseen,
sure, ma'am, but your point is wrong. You're wrong on a legal point.
Hold your horses. Pranesh, can you please ask Tehseen?
Go ahead, ma'am, make your point.
Okay. What I find surprising is that in so many decades, the Congress has not changed its character. As they say, a leopard cannot change its spot. They insulted P.V. Narasimha Rao by not allowing his dead body within the premises. They did not even give him a decent funeral. And this is the same party which destroyed the legacy of Babu Jagjeevan Ram, a Dalit, and they have the audacity then to say that they're a pro-Dalit party. And today, they have insulted an ex-army man, somebody from the Sikh community, and more importantly, a man who gave 4 decades to the Congress, including 9.5 years, as Suman C. Raman said, as Chief Minister. What I find surprising is that in any other party, Kabiliyat would be given a thumbs up. But Congress mein mujhe lagta hai Kabiliyat is a negative. It becomes a mill.
Okay, let's get a response. Tehseen, quick response, then I'm coming to you, Dr. Raman.
2 people who are watching this debate, in irony, are wondering what to say to Sanju ji. One is Advani ji, one is Yedurappa ji, who built the party riding the cycle and built the BJP up. But let me come to the more important point. Sanju ji, you're wrong on legality. Majority of MLAs can call for a CLP meeting. That is the procedure. You're factually wrong.
No,
Please,
that is
ma'am,
not the
read the
procedure, and I don't need to learn procedures from you. We know what is the status of your
Okay,
PIL.
okay, let's not get personal here, please. Let's not get personal. Calm down, calm down. Sanju Verma, let him
Calm down, ma'am. Calm down.
Tehseen,
calm
make
down.
your point.
I'm just
Tehseen,
telling
make your
you-
point.
I'm just making the point that she's wrong on a fact. She's wrong. But the fact of the matter is, the Congress knows what will take them to victory. The Congress will get more than 80 seats in this election, and they're also going to win Uttarakhand. Please take this in writing. You may continue to criticize this decision has been taken, and it's a great decision, and we owe no explanation.
Yes.
We are now criticizing. Captain
You got
Amarinder is unhappy.
2019
Look
also.
what he said. Things that he said about the
In your
Congress
dreams.
party. Dr.
He was in
Raman.
the Congress party.
Pranesh, one second. I mean, Tehseen is doing a valiant job of defending this decision. But I'm sure even deep down, even he knows that this has been handled awfully. Let's look at one very important fact. This is not the Congress High Command of 20 years ago, for God's sake. This is an emaciated, significantly weakened Congress High Command. You cannot pull the strings like you used to 20 years ago, or how Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah do it today. They do it because they have 300 plus MPs sitting in parliament, and they are able to win election after election after election. And that is what the Congress was doing at once upon a time. But you've got to wake up and smell the coffee. And if your regional leaders and your people who are considered senior stalwarts of your party are
The man who won you the state,
I'm sure
Shehzad,
Pranesh, Ashok Gehlot is not going to sleep very well from here on, because he's probably next in the firing line.
Right, Shehzad, if performance is punished, if performers are penalized, does this mean that Congress is only for Parivar and their proxies? Shehzad?
Well, it's very obvious, Pranesh. The fundamental reason why Mr. Amarinder Singh has been shown the door is because he's a swabhimani soldier. He doesn't become a yes man, or he's not a chamcha, part of the chamchawali committee, the CWC. Now, I just have one question to ask of Tehseen. If performance is the barometer, why don't you apply this barometer to Rahul Gandhi? On what pretext or what condition is he calling the shots? He's not even a goddamn president of the party. Why is he calling the shots? Is Priyanka Vadra the president of the party? What is their capacity to lodge Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu as the president of the PCC? One second. I have also, you were asking Sanju Verma, I have the constitution of the Congress party. I have studied it page to page. I'm asking you, what power or authority does Rahul Gandhi have to call the shots? Please answer this question to me.
Great question, Shehzad, except if you would have read the actual communication rather than WhatsApp, you would have seen all communication.
No, you must have read that. You must have read the Congress constitution, but it changed. Just like the views on Captain Amarinder Singh changed. Tehseen.
May I please be allowed to answer?
Sure, go ahead.
Please, thank you. No, the Congress constitution has not changed. If only Shehzad would have read the letters, the official letters rather than WhatsApp, all communication and all decisions are taken by the Honorable Congress President, Srimati Sonia Gandhi, not by Sri Rahul Gandhi or Srimati Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. But let me make one point to Shehzad, which is a very pertinent one.
So Sonia Gandhi is a puppet in the hands of Rahul Gandhi.
Please, allow me to finish. Don't interrupt. Allow me to finish, then you make your point.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're saying that Captain
I am
is a great
paraphrasing.
performing...
No,
what you're
Shehzad,
saying.
let him make his point. Shehzad, let him make his point.
That the Congress, if you're saying that the Congress government in Punjab was performing well, let's keep that point. That means Gujarat, Karnataka, Uttarakhand and Assam are absolute failures of the BJP. Then why have we not had them being run down? Why all the shows are against Congress, number one? Number two, if you are saying that no Congress...
But does that comparison hold, Tehseen? You know, I frankly don't understand that. Let's get Dr. Raman. Forget Sanju Verma for a minute. Let's get Dr. Raman to have an independent view. Dr. Raman, does that comparison hold? I'm coming to you, Sanju Verma, after this.
So that comparison, look, that comparison would have held had Mr. Rupani or Mr. Tirath Singh Rawat or Mr. Sarbananda Sonowal come out and badmouth their party or their party high command, which did not happen. So I don't think that that is a valid comparison. And Mr. Amarinder Singh, had Captain Amarinder Singh gone quietly and submitted his resignation letter and promised to be a true soldier of the party and continue on, we would not even be having this debate.
Exactly. That's what I began by saying, Sanju Verma.
Pranesh,
okay. Yes, sir. Make your point. Sorry.
I spoke about Ashok Gehlot But I've forgotten about Bhupesh Baghel, who's probably already sort of halfway between losing his chair and to Singh.
I'm sure Tehseen wants to. I'm sure Tehseen wants to respond to that. But Tehseen, just 1 minute. Let Sanju Verma come in. I'm coming to you.
Yeah. You know, Pranesh, I think for a change today, I also agree with Sumansi Raman. You know, the problem, Pranesh, is not with Captain Amarinder Singh or with the Bhupesh Baghel and T.S. Singhdeo who are fighting in Chhattisgarh, or say Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot who are at loggerheads in Rajasthan, or for that matter Maharashtra. There, Pranesh, you'll be surprised to know there are more than 6 people waiting to be the Chief Minister. Ashok Chavan, Prithviraj Chavan, Sanjay Nirupam, Milind Deora, Bhai Jagtap, Nana Patole, etc., etc. The problem is that there is no clarity in the top leadership of the Congress.
Okay, no clarity in top leadership. Tehseen, respond to that.
50-year-old juvenile who refuses to be transparent.
Okay, let's hear his response, ma'am.
Refuses to be responsible.
I'm grateful to Sanju Verma that she's today admitted on your show that the Congress is a powerhouse of talent and democracy works in the way where the majority of MLAs decide who will be CM. Sumanji, you will agree with me that as if I am, and I'm speaking in third person, I have the right to choose the best option to win an election. Scientific surveys show me that A is the best possible choice. Had I not taken the decision, I would be on Pranesh's show with you grilling me and telling me, listen, you could have done this, you wake up and smell the coffee, you were not decisive. I have taken a decision. Good or bad, I've gone with the decision. Please accept the fact that I know what I'm doing politically because I've got feedback from 79
Okay, so, okay, you're calling it scientific, you're saying, okay, wait for the results. Okay, Shehzad Poonawalla, last word on the show to you. The fundamental question that people want answered is merit sidelined in the Congress party? Has that become a norm?
Well, obviously, any party that has leadership like Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Vadra, obviously merit is not an important aspect for consideration. But the point is that even if Tehseen's points were to be taken as gospel, why do it 4 months, 5 months before an election? Shouldn't the timing have been much before, or were you sleeping all this while? You couldn't realize that your government wasn't performing, that you were politically not going to benefit out of it in 2022. You only just woke up and then did this entire exercise. So this argument does not hold water. It is just a lousy excuse to just paper over a decision taken by an arrogant and immature political tool called Rahul Gandhi.
All right, we've run out of time. I thank all of you. The larger question remains, if Captain Amarinder Singh is invoking national security, it's a strong message for Gandhis to introspect. I thank all of you for joining us on this debate on the special edition of the News Hour.
The News Hour Special Edition.